Everyone have a wonderful day. Did anyone else stay on the couch all day in their pajamas? Thank you. Okay, you are my people. So welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming congregation. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. And we're so happy that you've joined us here this morning. This is our traditional burning bowl. We usually do this the last Sunday of the year. And it's a very powerful time of releasing in preparation for claiming, which will happen next week. So let's take that intention into our opening prayers. We very gently close our eyes and just take a moment to breathe as we become fully present, as we move into that awareness, that integration of our humanity and our divinity. That integration is our true nature, and that is what we come together to remember. To remember that truth when the cares of the world sometimes seem too big. We remember to breathe, to drop into our heart, to remember that which we have to be grateful for, to rest in hope and faith and peace and love and joy. And so we breathe together, remembering that truth for ourselves and for one another, as we embrace our spiritual nature, as we celebrate our human nature, and as we come apart for a while to relax into that truth. And as always, we enter into this time with gratitude as we say thank you for this time apart. Thank you for whatever space you are in, whether you are here physically or in spirit. And most of all, thank you for one another. And so it is. Amen. All right, let's stand and sing, I Release.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I feel the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
are releasing as we claim our vision together. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are on your journey. So if you're comfortable with the hug, we'll bring it on in. If you feel better about a handshake, just put your hand out and we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we understand and we will respect that desire. Just stay where you are and we'll leave you completely alone. Have a great time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Helene.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well done. All right, have a seat. Okay, some announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Sam Sherman, who is in the sanctuary, and Debbie LaTulip, who is holding space for us from home this morning. Today is the last day for the Holiday Bazaar, so if you want to do some last-minute shopping, Dave was joking this morning and said it's 60% off, and so, of course, 60% off a love offering is still a love offering, but so anyway, that will be broken down this week, so if there's anything in there that you've been dying to take home, please do so. Next Sunday is the White Stone ceremony, so we're going to release today, we're going to claim next week. For those of you who have never done a White Stone before, it's where we go into meditation and we discern what is our intention for the new year, what name or quality are we claiming. And I share every year that every year I go into it thinking I know what my word is going to be, and then it isn't. So it's a very interesting process what happens when we go into that meditation and all of a sudden the word comes up and I say, that wasn't what I wanted. And Spirit says, but it's what you're getting. Right? So I do invite you to come back for that. And I'm going to give you a quick lesson for the burning bowl. This is how we do it here. Before the meditation, I will come over and I will light both of these candles. And then during the meditation, you will be invited to write what you want to release on this little piece of tissue paper. And notice it's little. It's little for a reason, because if you're really ready to release it, a couple of words will suffice. If you need to cover both sides and use 3, that's usually a clue that you're not really ready to release it, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to write with your little pencil or a pen on this, and then you want to loosely just roll it around your little pencil, and then let the pencil drop out, and then you're going to take it like this, and you're going to very mindfully light it and drop it in that order. Light it and then drop it into the sand, okay? We do have a large pitcher of water hidden behind the table. I would rather not need to use it, okay? So that's your instruction for how to do the burning bowl in a safe and mindful manner. So, all righty. Miss Helene, would you like to read the daily word?
My inner light grows brighter through faith. Pulling back a curtain in a dark room will drive the darkness out and flood the space with light. I remember this at those times when my life feels dark. I have the power to live from faith, which brings me out of spiritual darkness. Faith helps me believe that even when I can't see it, the light of God is always shining. Little by little, my awareness of God grows increasingly brighter until I perceive the divine everywhere. I am a spiritual being inseparable from God. I place my faith in this truth and drive out the darkness of fear and doubt that may have caused me to shrink from the fullness of life. Shining my light in the world, I inspire those around me to grow brighter with faith. And as John in chapter 12, verse 46 says, I have come as light into the world so that everyone who believes in me should not remain in the darkness.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
So this is the time of our service where we consciously and intentionally enter into a time of prayer. So I invite you now to very gently close your eyes, go within into that place of knowing that all is well. For that is the space that we create for one another during this time. For those who are experiencing a challenge, whether it be physical, emotional, financial, situational, we invite you into this place of all is well. Specifically today, we have one member who is in the hospital with COVID. We surround her now with our comfort, our strength, our courage, our love, and our compassion. We see that healing light and energy of spirit moving through her now. Filling her with breath, with life, with love, with energy. For anyone else experiencing a health challenge, we surround you with that same energy of glowing health, of vibrant well-being. For that is your true nature. For those experiencing a challenge related to this holiday, we remind you that you are a member of this family of love, of this family of joy, of this family that seeks first to understand who we are in all of our glory. And for those of us experiencing joy or a sense of gratitude this morning, we invite you to place it into this sacred circle so that we may share in it with you, so that we may be reminded of the power of gratitude, of the choice for joy today and every day. For we know that when we come together in this time, in this place, and in this way, that our sorrows are divided and our joys are multiplied. That is the power of the beloved community. And it is with gratitude for that community and a recognition of our innate oneness that we say, Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole.
Sometimes I don't want to stop that rain.
I know,
So
it's so pretty.
Can you feel the chill in the air? They're hanging up lights everywhere. It's bright as New York City. The streets are getting busy. A tree in every window, kisses under mistletoe. There's something about the season. I want to hold on to the feeling. Let Christmas hang around. Let that snowfall cover up this town. In the blink of an eye, it goes so fast, and it's another year before we get it back. So let Christmas hang around, hang around, hang around. Warming up by the fire, sipping on a little cider. As it gets a little closer, I don't want it to be over. Let Christmas hang around. Let that snowfall cover up this town. In the blink of an eye, it goes so fast, and it's another year before we get it back. So let Christmas hang around, hang around, hang around. Oh, I don't want to wait 365 days. Well, I don't want to wait, I don't want to wait, well, I don't want to wait. Let Christmas hang around. Let that snow fall, cover up this town. In the blink of an eye, it goes so fast, and it's another year before we get it back. So let Christmas hang around, hang around, hang around, hang around, hang around, hang around. Let Christmas hang around. Let that snow fall, cover up this town.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I heard that song at the end of a Hallmark movie. Actually, last year, and I instantly called Janie and said, I have a song for you to sing next year. I could hear her singing it at the end of that movie. It was beautiful. Let Christmas hang around. Oh, so throughout this Advent season, we have explored the lessons, the messages taught to us by hope and faith and peace and love and joy. And those of you who were in the room on Friday evening got to light your candle from one of those qualities that most spoke to you. So today, we're going to prepare to end one year and begin another, and we're going to create space. That's what the burning bowl ceremony does. It creates space to fully incorporate those lessons. And so we do that in Unity through literally burning the last year away. We burn it away. It makes room by getting rid of that which no longer serves us. It makes room for that which we want to bring into our lives. And the analogy that I always use is it's like cleaning out a closet, right? In order to fit more clothes into your closet, you have to get rid of some, right? You don't just keep going to the dollar store and buying more hangers. You actually have to release that which you haven't worn for, 6 or 7 years. Speaking hypothetically, if you want to make room for the new stuff to come in. And in doing that, in cleaning out our closets or our cabinets, we make a mess. In order to create that space, chaos is initially created before we once again restore order. So I found this quote years ago that I just loved. Before the beginning of great brilliance, there must be chaos. Before a brilliant person begins something great, they must be willing to look foolish to the crowd. Before great brilliance, there is chaos. So then, of course, I had to Google the origin and definition of chaos. And apparently it comes from the Greek, and it typically refers to unpredictability. So in a metaphysical sense, it's the opposite of law and order. Chaos is unrestricted. It's both creative and destructive. A lot of times if you Google for a graphic of chaos, it's just this almost this frantic swirl of colors and shapes, and it's almost disconcerting how frantic it feels. That's chaos. Now, interestingly, in the original Greek, it didn't mean disorder. It meant emptiness. It meant the primal emptiness or space. And it was a misinterpretation that later changed it to disorder. So if we think of chaos in that way, it is that space from which creation occurs, from which brilliance can occur. So then I thought, okay, well, chaos, then I instantly went to what I learned in college about the chaos theory. And it comes from the fact that the systems that that theory describes are apparently disordered, but chaos theory is really about finding the underlying order in apparently random data. That brings me comfort. Because don't we all feel bombarded right now with a whole lot of apparently random data? Okay, so chaos theory says there is order there somewhere. So let's insert that definition. So before great brilliance, there must be a void. There must be a primal emptiness. There must be space. Back to the closets. We must, in order to create that space, we create chaos by dragging everything out of the closet. That's what the burning bowl does. It's a ritual that helps us to create space. So, we've created the space. I actually am calling this morning's talk Embracing the Chaos. We're going to embrace the chaos, and we also want to recognize that that chaos, that emptiness, that I've heard it described as that place of transition, it's like the space between trapezes. Think of that. You've let go of one trapeze, and you haven't yet grabbed the next one. That's that primal emptiness, that space. It can be very uncomfortable. It can create uneasiness. It can create that tension. There's a lack of predictability. There's a lack of certainty. There's a lack of knowing. But there's also in that space an invitation to change, to embrace not just the chaos, but to invite in whatever is trying to emerge, whatever change is trying to happen. So then, as I was researching chaos theory, I found a website by a gentleman called Dr. Bill Smith, and he's at the Center for Change. There's actually a Center for Change. And it's devoted to managing change in a secondary school setting. Okay, think of that age group. Lots of change going on in a secondary school setting. So one of the observations that I found on his site was this: people generally agree that today's change is different. It's not generally connected to the past or indicative of the future. Today's change is discontinuous, requiring total flexibility. There seem to be very few cyclical trends or linear progressions. He continues, past habits for addressing change simply won't work. Change must be recognized as a process, not an event. Very few cyclical trends or linear progressions. That sounds pretty chaotic, right? So in other words, the patterns of the past aren't working anymore. It reminds me of the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. We are living in a time right now where we are surrounded by chaos, and we are being invited into that space of doing things differently. So it can be scary, or it can be liberating. We can see that space between the trapezes. Another person, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, I'll drop it in the group, but she said, being in that space is like Linus when his blanket is in the dryer. Those comforting touchstones that we're used to holding on to aren't there. And so we can get scared, and we can run back to the familiar, or we can see it as an opportunity. So I love Father Richard Rohr, and I get his piece in my box every morning, and it's one of the first things I read every morning. And what was there, and I can't remember if this was from yesterday or today, but It's just so perfect, and I wanted to share it with you. And he actually wrote this the beginning of this year. And it's called A Return to Unveiling. He said, "I'm convinced we are living in a time of unveiling, when reality is being revealed as it always has been and always will be. Systems of evil have become both more brazen and banal. Our sense of normal has been upended, and yet in the midst of it, God continues to invite us to deeper, trusting love. A few weeks into the pandemic, some people even began to use the word apocalyptic to describe what was taking place. Often this word is used to scare people in some kind of fearful, exclusive, or reactionary behavior, all in expectation of the end times. But remember what I said last week, like we're always in the end times. It's always somebody's end times. These are our end times. But the word apocalyptic, from the Greek apokalypsis, really just means unveiling. When things are unveiled, we stop taking a whole lot of things for granted. That's what major events like the COVID-19 pandemic do for us. They reframe reality in a radical way and offer us an invitation to greater depth and breadth and compassion. If we trust the universal pattern, the wisdom of all times and all places, including the creation and evolution of the cosmos itself, we know that an ending is also the place for a new beginning. Death promises a new kind of life. And then I thought this was interesting. They dropped this piece in at the end of it. And the explanation is, while the events of this past year may have brought this unveiling to the surface for many of us in new and pressing ways, Father Richard and others have been naming this impending shift for many years. What he wrote 3 decades ago remains true. In other words, what I'm about to share with you, he wrote 30 years ago. He says, the myths of modernism are dying all around us. Our sophistication and complexity are self-destructing. For several hundred years, we were convinced in the West that progress, human reason, and higher technology would resolve human tragedy. They clearly have not. Without denying the gifts of mind and science, we now doubt their messianic promise. More analysis does not necessarily mean more wisdom, and having more options is not necessarily freedom. The accumulation of things is not likely to bring more happiness, and time saved is rarely used for contemplation. Progress has too often been achieved at the expense of the earth, and human reason has too easily legitimated war, greed, and the pursuit of a private agenda, while technology pays those who serve it, especially the moguls of capitalism, militarism, and big pharma. Our Western philosophy of progress has led us to trust in our own limitlessness and in our future more than in the quality and the mystery of the now. Religion at its best is always concerned with the depth and breadth, paradox, and the wonder of things. In this sense, we have become an impatient and irreligious people. The Paschal mystery, the yin and yang of all reality, is outshouted by the quite recent and unproven slogan, "We can have it all." He wrote that 30 years ago. It's very relevant for today. It reminds me of when Ken goes to the grocery store and the clerk says to him, "Is that everything?" He says, "No, because everything won't fit in the cart." Right? We can have it all is a myth. It's not real. And the devastation we are wreaking upon our planet is proof that it is not real. We are being asked to take a leap into the unknown, into new ways of being and doing together, to stop trying to go back to a normal that wasn't working. but to be willing to just be in that discomfort, the uncertainty and the unpredictability of not knowing what's going to come next, but being willing to be fully present. Pema Chodron, in one of her amazing books, this one is called Taking the Leap, Freeing Ourselves from Old Habits and Fears. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Anybody else want to free yourself from old habits and fears? So here's what Pema says. Taking the leap involves making a commitment to ourselves and to the earth itself, making a commitment to let go of old grudges, to not avoid people and situations and emotions that make us feel uneasy, to not cling to our fears, our closed-mindedness, our hard-heartedness, and our hesitation. Now is the time to develop trust in our basic goodness and the basic goodness of our sisters and brothers on this earth. A time to develop confidence in our ability to drop our old ways of staying stuck and to choose wisely. Now more than ever, we are all in this together. So then that led me to an article that I had saved. You know how you save them to read later. There was something I had read in just the description of the article that I was prompted to go back to it after I revisited Pema's quote. This was an opinion in the Washington Post by columnist David Van Driel, and this is just a little blurb of what he had said. He said, "We're adapting to living with COVID-19, but less so to accepting the uncertainty." He said, "It would have been useful, I believe, to have emphasized the uncertainty, as the best reporters always did. The most knowledgeable voices during this pandemic have been scrupulous about the limits of their knowledge. The public might have been less surprised, less chagrined, less exhausted by changes in public health guidance and contradictory scientific findings. Possibly there would be fewer people today willing to believe that normal fits and starts of the learning process were somehow signs of bad faith," reminding us that we are all in this together. And being willing to embrace the uncertainty and the fits and starts of not just the pandemic, but of life. Not always needing to know. Being willing to embrace that beginner's mind, that contemplative mind. Father Richard says, "The contemplative mind is willing to hear from a beginner's mind, yet also learn from scripture, tradition, and others. It has the humility to move toward yes and thinking and not all or nothing thinking. It leads to a third way, which is neither fight nor flight, but standing in between, where I can hold what I do know together with what I don't know." To be willing to be in that tension. He says, holding such a creative tension with humility and patience leads us to wisdom instead of easy answers, which largely create opinionated and smug people instead of wise people. We surely need wise people now who hold their truth humbly and patiently. What if we would hold all the data we are being bombarded with humbly and patiently instead of rushing for answers, rushing to know, rushing for certainty that we just don't have right now? So before a brilliant person begins something great, they must look foolish in the crowd. Are we willing to look foolish by not knowing? Are we willing to make mistakes? Are we willing to hold that creative tension? Are we willing to allow our leaders and our scientists to be doing the best that they can with the knowledge that they are continuing to accumulate? So the work we're up to here is about real transformation. It's not about easy answers or magical thinking or closing our eyes real tight and wanting all this chaos and hurt to go away. It's about being willing to be in that place between trapezes, knowing that at some point Linus's blanket will come out of the dryer, but not right now. It's still tumbling. We may have put it on wrinkle prevent, but it's still in there tumbling. Real transformation requires that we not revert back to doing things that we've always done because it's comfortable. So every day we get to choose, are we going to embrace the chaos or not? Are we going to be willing to do things differently or not? C.S. Lewis once said, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. We have an opportunity to adjust, to learn from our mistakes, to be in that place of chaos, to be in that place where all the clothes are spread all over the bedroom, and decide what we want to put back. To be willing to release and let go, to take the leap and let go of that which no longer serves us. So that's what we're going to do with the burning bowl this morning. We're going to clean out that closet. We're going to look at what no longer fits, or what isn't our style anymore, or something that we've simply outgrown, and not even with the energy of getting rid of something, but releasing it with gratitude for how it served us in the past. Releasing it with gratitude. So just one little note about the burning bowl. I only have one rule, and that is that you don't burn a person. Do you hear me? You may want to burn what didn't work in a relationship. You might want to burn an old pattern in your relationships. You might want to burn a belief that you have about being in a relationship. But I would ask you that you do not burn a person. Because think of this, would you want to be burned in that bowl? Right? We're going to release the old patterns, the old grudges, the old thoughts that no longer serve us with gratitude. So let's take that into meditation.
There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Believe in your dreams, come what may. There's always tomorrow with so much to do and so little time in a day. We all pretend the rainbow has an end, and you'll be there, my friend, someday. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far away. We all pretend the rainbow has an end, and you'll be there, my friend, someday. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far away. Tomorrow is not far away.
So let's close our eyes for just a moment. And go within. Go into that place of wisdom, of courage, of power, of hope and faith, peace, love, and joy. And ask yourself, what kind of tomorrow do you want? What do you want to create with your one wild and precious life? What vision appears to you in your mind's eye? And now take a breath and step back and ask yourself, what do I need to release? What space do I need to create in order for this tomorrow to appear? What belief? What habit? What pattern of heart or mind do I need to let go of? In order to create the room for the tomorrow of our dreams. When you're ready, when the answer appears, I invite you to write it on your paper. And come forward and release.
end. The rainbow has an end,
and you'll be there, my friend, someday. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far away. Tomorrow is not far away.
How do you feel? Feel lighter? Little chaotic? Good. So this is the time of our service where we thank you for your incredible and ongoing generosity, for the many gifts that you share with this community so that we can continue to do our good work in the world. So thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your paper contributions, your change contributions, and your electronic contributions. We are grateful for your support in any form in which it comes in. Thank you.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne. We twa hae run above the braes and pulled the goings fine, but we've wandered many weary fet since days of old lang syne, and we twa hae paddled in the barn frae morning sun till dine, but seas between us bred hae roared since days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. And surely he'll be your pine stoop, and surely I'll be mine, and we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. And there's a hand my trusty fear, and gaze a hand of thine, and we'll take a recht get well what for all thine.
Oh, that was beautiful. I think it's so cool how your Texas twang shifts into a Gaelic lilt when you sing that song.
Well, I think they might cross over here and there.
Yeah, a little bit of crossover. I love it. I love it. Let's stand and share in our unity blessing. And please do look at one another and bless one another as we say this. Together, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Yes, we do. And let's sing the peace song with intention.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Amen. Go forth. Have a wonderful week. Happy New Year in advance. Release and let go. Embrace the chaos. I love you. Have a great week. Bye-bye, Facebook and YouTube land.